should know before we get started is that there is a chance that this may go away. We got SUNYCreate as a result of an IITG grant for 2019 to 2020. And then it was extended as a result of some funds that were, or Oneonta, well, let me back up a bit. Oneonta was a primary investigators under this grant project, but Oswego was part of this, as was Geneseo, SUNY, Genesee Community College, and I believe Purchase, SUNY Purchase, were all part of the proposal. And what we got with this proposal was a total of 500 accounts with, I believe it's, is it 100 gigabytes of storage total for all the accounts that's shared. So we got this, the funds ran out. It had been submitted for a second year for an expanded pilot. It was one of the highest ranked proposals, but then the IITG funding was cut off when the world kind of fell apart last spring. So Oneonta, though, was able to transfer some of their OER funds that they had based on the usage of OER to support this. Oswego and the other institutions were not willing to commit to the project last year because everyone was worried about budgets and everything else. But Oneonta did come up with the money that was coming from SUNY anyway. So we got it for this year through the end of this month. But there has been interest, and we've been meeting with people from SUNY OER services for the last several months. And the plan where we last left it was that an expanded use of this would continue with the same institutions and maybe one or two more, with twice the accounts and twice the storage. So we'd be basically at double the capacity. The only reason why there's hesitancy is this has not yet been formally approved as part of the SUNY budget. We had two people who were actively advocating for that. One just moved to a new job and the other just retired, but we do have some other support there, and we are hoping that it will be continued. I will note, though, that if this is not continued, you can get basically the equivalent account for $25 a year, which perhaps your department might be willing to pay for. I bought my own, all the work I've had my students do, I've hosted on my own server because I've been reluctant to have them work in a platform that might go away at the end of the academic year. And so I just chose to pay for my own server because I felt it was a little bit more stable and safer. You don't need to use a server for many projects, but I like knowing that it will exist out there, at least as long as I'm willing to keep paying for it. So when you go here, you click on Get Started, and it will, then you click on Log in with SUNY SSO. And eventually it will take you to the system-wide authentication service. And it automatically logged me into my account anyway. I was going to try to create a new one using a CELT account, but I can't do that. Would either of you like to be willing to share your screen? Okay, let me drop out because my account was already created. So, and it's kind of locking me back in, even though I had logged out because it saved a token from that.
Do you want me to share? I don't mind.
If you're willing to, sure.
Yeah.
We could choose not to post it if you feel uncomfortable by the end of it, but this way, at least people could see what it's like as you go into the project.
I just did it. Where did it go? I just went there.
That looks like my list of
I have
tabs.
a zillion things open. I'm sorry.
No, see, you don't want me trying to do this, sharing with you guys.
No,
I'm not sure what the icon even looks like.
there it is, right there.
Okay, so this is the one part you cannot revert without the intervention of Reclaim Hosting. So what you should do is pick a name that might work no matter what application you choose to use it for. So if you're only thinking about using it with one class, you could put in a class name or something similar, you know.
So how about this? Tech, engineering, backend, engineering.
Okay, that would work.
Tech engineering ed. Tech and engineering ed. There we go. Does that what it says? Tech
And engineering
ed. That's what I want.
Okay. And just click continue. And that will be your subdomain of the SUNYCreate cloud. And so this would be the domain name that everything you create would be part of. Okay. And now you click on sign up. This part is new. I haven't seen this yet. I knew there was a change there. Okay.
I did click dashboard and it didn't do anything. I'm waiting for it to redirect.
Yeah, I wonder if you have to go to your email to confirm it. Well, maybe not. No, here it is. Okay, good. So I think you have to, well, you don't have to. At the bottom, you get the choice of allowing or deny the interface analytics just to look at how people are using cPanel and WHM. That's up
I'm
to
going
you.
to deny.
Okay. And these are all the tools you can install on your free server space. There's a lot of them. The top level has more to do with domains. And the applications, though, are the normal things you'd install. So if you want to create your own version of WordPress, you just click on that and you can install that on your domain. So WordPress is by far the most commonly used application. Omeka is used for archive type things or collections. So for example, I believe the Fashion History Project might be an Omeka site where you have, information. If you're trying to create an archive that has lots of tags where there's images and descriptions of objects or individual items, Omeka is a really nice platform for that, and it allows user submissions of information that get automatically posted on the site. WordPress is, a general blogging type site, but it has many different applications and plugins. We got access to the full set of WordPress plugins. Well, the free ones, the paid ones you still have to pay for, but there's a lot of free WordPress applications. I don't know what Grav is. I don't remember offhand. It's not that commonly used, or at least not in SUNYCreate. Scalar is a semantic web type tool where you can create linkages between different multimedia objects, where every page you post can be connected to other pages, and you can add annotations to that are themselves pages that can themselves be annotated. We've had people in the English department use that. Well, English and Spanish departments, Spanish and modern languages. Fiona Call had used it in several classes, and Catalina had used it this past semester, and she gave a workshop on it if you want to see more about that. Or if you want to look more generally at all the tools that are available, you can click on all applications. Why don't you do that just so we can see what's there? And there's a full list. They're sorted by different categories. Now, what many of them are, for example, the True Collect, anything with that CMS, well, not anything with the CMS, but what many of the things after, like the True Writer and the True Collector, those are sets of plugins. There's essentially configurations for WordPress. So many of the options here and some below are customized WordPress configurations where they have a given set of plugins for it and pre-configured sample pages, and you can create your own versions of that. But you could always start with WordPress and build your own, or if you wanted to focus on collections or on writing projects or something similar, then you might choose one of those bundles, which includes WordPress pre-configured for that specific use. Okay. The community building thing, you got wiki tools you can create, you got web calendars you can post, you got chats you can use, you've got old style bulletin boards that are either my bulletin board or PHP based bulletin board. There's discussion forums there. And there's all sorts below. There's wikis. You can install a media wiki or a PM wiki. There's a large number of possible tools you can have. Drupal, what we use for the college website, you can install. You could also install your own instance of Moodle, for example. If you wanted to run your own course management system, you could run it off of one of these accounts. There's an incredible variety. You can install TinyWiki, which is a fairly popular one. So there's lots of things. However, probably 85% or more of the use is WordPress. So that's probably the most common use right up near the top. So do you want to try installing a WordPress instance?
Sure.
Okay. So all you have to
Omeka,
do.
I'm going to try the Omeka, because one of the courses that I wanted to sort of do that thing where you were saying like building the content is the history of technology education course. And technology education as its origins, has a really strong base at SUNY Oswego. There's a lot of resources, but they're all in like crazy places. So I thought it'd be a good project for my students in that class to just continue to build like an online museum kind of thing of all the stuff that's here. Does that sound like
Sure.
Okay.
I think so. I have never used Omeka, but I know some people who have.
I can do WordPress.
Oh,
then.
no, but let's try it. This is really easy to do in every case. So let's try it. I just want to show you how easy this is. And all you need to do now is just click on install this application. What Installatron does is, in the past, when you had server space, you had to download the files, you had to run various config programs and essentially set them all up and edit them all. This does everything yourself. So by default, if you're going to use it here, you can always undo this later. You can remove any applications. You could either create a subdirectory, or you could just leave it as the direct domain address. So if you just leave the default, you should just be able to click. Probably if you scroll down, there's probably a go or do or something. You have to accept the license agreement, use the default. One nice thing about Reclaim Hosting is I'll automatically update to new versions as well as any dependencies that are needed. Having an automatic backup isn't bad. And this gives some basic information. What I'd recommend is using the pre-configured administrative usernames and passwords, because what happens is you will never actually need that if you log in through the site. You can directly log in by going to SUNYCreate. Okay. And we'll show that later. But so right now you can give it a title. Okay, I think you have a T instead of an F there, right there. Oh, okay. Okay, and then you should be able to scroll down, and there should be something like a go or do something, or an execute.
Why don't I want to put anything here?
Oh, well, you could, but that would make the URL longer. So, for example, if it was, if you wanted to call this, your URL is up there, and then this would be appended to the end of the URL.
I'm okay with that, because I might have one for different things.
Okay.
So I'm just going to put history on here. Okay. So then just install.
Just click install. And it'll take a minute or two typically. And then
Did I click save this?
That you probably don't want to, because that's not going to be actually the password. That was, you grabbed it from just one of the fields there.
That was quick.
And it is now there. And now when you log in, if you click on My Applications at the top when you first come in, to log in as the administrator, you would use that second link, and that would use the saved user ID and the password, which you don't even need to remember, which is kind of nice.
So I'm going back to the home here. Oh, fudge in a bucket.
So
Wait,
now if you go
the
to,
dashboard.
I think so.
Fingers crossed. There's always a back button.
There you go.
Okay.
And now you see where it says my applications, right under applications.
Oh, my apps. Okay. Yep. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Okay.
And now this will show everything you've installed on your server space. Okay. So the top one would let you view it as an outsider would. The second would log you in as a site administrator, which would let you configure the site. And the same thing is true with WordPress or pretty much any of the things you install.
Oh, look at that.
So what do I type in here?
This is different. Okay, this is something you're going to need those other ones. Let's go back and then I'll leave that in, but then you can change it later when we're not recording it.
Well, I can just stop sharing my screen for a second. So how do I get there though? Edit?
I think edit.
So I have a question. If we want to make this for our students to use, they wouldn't have administration. They would just click on the icon and go to it.
Once you create this, you would use the tool itself to invite them.
I'm going to just stop my share for 1 second and do this and then come back.
Okay. But what you would do is you would create whatever application you have, and then within the application, you would upload the list of student emails and invite them to the service. Or you could set up Omeka where there's a form, I'm pretty certain, where you can have them upload things directly to the site. You're muted.
So it's more like a friendlier version of Drive, but more
powerful.
oriented to one course or a goal instead of, because I'll do for my classes shared drives, and then I open up my drive and I have a ton of stuff I got to go through, where this is its own class tool.
Basically, yes. That you're essentially playing the role of the administrator here, but they automate the process so you don't have to do a lot of work. The defaults they set up for installing these things normally work pretty well. So now if you've got the user ID and password, clicking in as administrator. I've only tried this with WordPress, so I didn't know that you needed to. Okay.
Oh, there it goes. Yay.
There it is.
Okay.
And now you would, I think, my guess is you would either go to appearance or the settings to configure it. And in the settings, you could pick the theme and other things. So Roy apparently developed that particular look and feel for it. So you can choose the themes, or you could design your own.
Okay, the theme has been successfully changed. Oh, and then you set up how you want to navigate the page and things like that. Check links to display them. Click and drag links. Browse items, browse collections. Okay, I think I could figure that out. All right. I don't know what this means. Derivative
That would tell
size.
you that what the image size is, and you want to set it big enough so it will work on mobile devices as well as on, on the web. So it's basically setting how big you want the images to be when they're displayed, or the maximum size at least.
I guess I would see how it works first before I go and change anything. If these are
And you
the
could
defaults.
always go back and change it once you've had that chance.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so now if I go to settings, that's what.
So now you put in a description of it.
Yep. And so what was that copyright that I want, John?
It could be CC by NC.
NC and then share alike, right?
Right.
Okay. What is this image magic directory path? I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Okay,
I
that's
don't
fine.
know.
Good. I'm
It's
not going to
something-
mess with
it's-
it.
it's something
not gonna mess
magical
with it.
involving images.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Items? No items. Collections? Okay, good. So I could add a collection that says Dublin Core. I don't know what that means. A title. So the title is Manual Arts at and topic of the resource. Account of the resource. Description. I'm not going to put all that stuff in. The publisher. Okay, so entity responsible for making this resource available, that would just be the class or
It could be
us,
the
or-
class. Yeah, it could be, the name of your class and the year or something.
Okay.
And I think you have some control over these fields when you set it up, but I'm not positive. And certainly the time would be relevant for things that you add.
This is 21. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I feel that
Oh.
pain.
Information about rights held in and over the resource. Would that be the CC thing?
That I'm not sure. Yeah,
So this is stuff that would be probably published under it or go
that's what I'm
along with
thinking.
it. I take this out.
This would be
Yes.
more like if you had a collection of things from a given era or a given object. And then the items would be the individual things in collections, I think.
Yeah, so I'm going to add that collection there. I'm going to just make it, I'm not going to make it public yet. I'm just going to add it. And then I can put an item in that collection.
I think so, yes.
All right, so then I can image magic directory path. Okay, this makes sense. I can do this. There you go. So I could take some of the stuff that we have in the archives and I could scan it and I could put it in here. This is super cool. But now wait a second though. You said, what if this goes away? How much does it cost to keep it?
Well, you can pay for a license for one of these accounts with, I forgot what the limit is. It might be 100 megabytes or something like that, for $25 a year.
Okay. And I guess I guess, because I was going to have them do it in Google Sites, but I don't think that's an unreasonable amount for the department to spend or out of my budget, whatever, to be able to, I don't know though, because you still have to, I mean, what happens when this thing, Omeka, goes out of business,
Yeah. Well, I don't know that much about Omeka, unfortunately. But I can tell you.
What happens when WordPress, isn't a thing anymore? Does your thing live on?
Actually, something like WordPress is like 2/3 of the web is on WordPress right now. So WordPress is pretty active. I mean, WordPress is a pretty solid platform. And Omeka might even be a WordPress configuration. I'm not sure.
Well, let's go back into a WordPress then, so that way anybody who's watching this video would know how to do it if that's something that's going to be commonly used.
But I don't know. So I don't know enough about Omeka. I do know it's used by lots of museums. It's used by art galleries. It's, and similar things. And that does seem appropriate. And I know you can set it up with an interface where people can submit items. I just don't know as much about it.
Okay, so if I do this WordPress, should I have it just install all those plugins or not?
You could.
Well, what do you recommend for folks to do that rather than having, because all of those
Yeah.
other templates, to have them available when you start to choose from, rather than to go through and add
Yeah,
them
I would probably
individually.
do that.
Okay, I accept the license agreement. Update WordPress. Yes. All right.
Yeah,
So,
usually
all right,
automatic.
I'm gonna
And now you
stop.
don't have to look at the password, because once you create it, you don't need to look at this one, because this one you can directly go to.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do my thing anyway, just in case. This was Word. No.
But the nice thing I like about it is, as long as you can log in safely into your SUNYCreate account, you can just click on the administrator thing and it automatically transfers your credentials over, so you don't have to remember them, which makes it just a little bit more secure. You only have to worry about the security of your Oswego email account, basically.
Okay, so now let me ask you this. I'm sharing again.
Karen, I am so glad it's you doing it and not me.
Okay, so this enable multi-site, what does that
That's if
mean?
you're going to run multiple WordPress sites off of one instance. You can always do it later. So just the default of no is probably better. Yeah. So in other words, if you had multiple interacting sites of WordPress instances, you might do that, but you could do that later if that's a use you need.
And
It's
I can
simpler.
change this stuff later too,
Yes,
right?
although you could do it now.
I don't know what I want it to be
Okay.
yet.
Yeah, that you can change later. Mhm.
All right, so then just click install
Just
now.
click install. And it probably takes just a little longer because of the plugins and things, but it doesn't take very long. And there it's going. And I see one of the links under the other is the Omeka.org forums, which would be a help site with other Omeka users, you know, if you wanted to look at what people are doing with it.
Okay, so we want to go in as the admin here, or did you
And
want me to
now if you click
physically
on
do
that, that
email?
should take you directly in. Exactly.
There we go.
There you go. And now you'd go in and you pick your, you'd go into the settings probably, and yeah, or you'd customize the site. Yeah, customize your site is good. And you would first probably start with the themes and pick a theme that would look good for what you want to do with it. And there's a search if you want to search for keywords.
Well, there's not that many.
Well,
These are the
there's-
installed themes and then the WordPress.org themes.
Yeah, I would go with the WordPress.org themes if you want to look at more. And then if there's a specific application you're thinking about, maybe type in collection, because that will give you some. Well, these all have collections in the description.
Yeah. I think I'll
You want to start a collecting
just
agency?
choose.
Or
Oh, wait, yes,
creative
you can
agency,
choose.
sorry.
What's that?
Yeah, that's just see what it looks like. And you can always change it later, but
Yeah.
this is probably the hardest part of doing a WordPress, choosing a good theme.
Okay. Doesn't look like much yet.
It doesn't. But you can always you could click on the, yeah.
Let's just try this.
Okay.
Oh, that was live preview. That was live preview. That's why it wasn't.
There's not much there yet. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. That was. Didn't I choose this one or did I choose a different one? I don't know what I did.
I think that was when you had used collection as a search, but.
Okay. So then let's try this. So then let's theme details.
Sure.
No, I said install in preview.
Okay. Yeah.
Isn't that what I said?
Mhm.
All right. I thought that's what I did.
You did. It was just a different theme.
Oh. Oh, okay. All right. So now what? Just start typing stuff in?
You could give it a name first, if you want. Get rid of that my blog.
Okay.
um,
Okay. So I have to click the pencil here.
Mhm.
Oh. Oops.
There's a length on it, and that may be the issue.
There we go.
Okay. And then you could either hide it or give it something different. There we go. Now, if you have an image, you can select.
Yeah, we'll leave that out.
Okay.
There we go.
And then this is a sample post.
Where do you want what?
On the right, you have a sample post with the title and so forth. That would be a
So
blog
do you want
post.
me to come over here and do
Yeah,
this?
you could. And click on that pencil, I think,
Click on
to the right to edit it, I think.
recent posts or search?
Yeah, try that. Oh, no, that's editing the widget.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Maybe you
I don't
can
wanna
edit that
customize
sample one.
widgets. All right, how do I save this?
Okay, click on Activate and Publish.
Even though it's empty?
Mhm.
Let's see.
And now, it's
think it's
published.
thinking. I think it's thinking. No, it's not thinking. It's really there.
It looks like it's there, but this is what your first blog post would look like without all the editing.
So how do I go in and...
There should be an edit option, although maybe where this is a default one, you may just want to do a new one. If you go down to, there should be a pages or add page option on the left somewhere. These are all the setups.
Where do you want me to go here?
Try clicking on an X at the top, because this is the settings. And this should take you into the main menu. There we go. Now what you would do is you would click on pages or posts. Basically, yeah, it depends. A page is something like a fixed web page. A post is like a blog post, which shows up in the list. You could do either one, add a new post or a new page.
Where do you see? Oh, add new.
Mm-hmm. So this is a post. So this would be like a blog post. And it's welcome to the block editor, which is something WordPress has been doing in the last few years. Basically, each paragraph becomes a block, and then you have an editor for that block. And then it's choosing where you want it, if you want it to be on the sidebar, content, or the sidebar. Okay. There you go. So here's your first post.
Okay, that's my first post.
Now you click publish.
Okay.
And then once it's published, you would click preview after that.
Should I
one
make
more
the
time.
visibility not public for right now?
You could, yeah.
So what happened?
Okay.
Visibility private is for now.
Okay. And now view post, and this would show it in the context of the site.
Okay. Yeah, this is a really hideous layout, so we won't do this. But
well, but you can change it now. So if you if you go back to the main menu, you could go back and change a different,
Okay, so up here is where I can go back to
the themes.
Yep.
Or customize either.
Okay, so where would you go next if you were trying to show people this? I don't want to make this about
What I
me.
would probably, well, no, that's okay. I mean, this is part of it. You know, what I would probably do, I mean, do you like that theme or do you want to look at some
Oh
alternatives?
no, I don't like the theme, but anybody can pick their own theme. The theme doesn't
Well, that's
really
true.
matter.
Okay. So what you can then do is go back to try customize or menus. Go back to menus at the bottom of that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The menus. And there, let's look at, because you want to do something where you could upload collections. Do a look. There should be an option for plugins. Go down to plugins and let's do a search to see if there's anything for plugins. And just do a search there for collection. There'll be a lot. I mean, there are so many possible plugins.
Let's see. Let's try this.
Or archive. Yeah.
No, that's just for like archiving your stuff.
Yeah.
What a minute. Elementor, drag and drop. Let's read this one.
There's a plugin for swatching.
Oh, that's cool for you. Do you want to look at that one?
Sure, if you don't mind. I'm learning a lot by watching you.
All right. So how do I get out of here? Click off. Okay. Where do you? Oh, swatches. Oh, that would be nice for you. Let's see if we can figure out more about this here. Oh, that's awesome for like on a catalog. So you can choose the different colors of your shirt. So you could do that with your costumes and things.
Or
Oh, I
when
love that.
when the kids are designing, because
Yep.
they do get to design their first shirt, you know.
Yep.
So
Select
these are the
attributes
things
for
that,
variation for products. Turns a variation into select option fields. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. That's very handy. I like that.
so the power of WordPress is in the plugins that will allow you to do custom configurations.
All right, let's see what happens when we say install now. Now,
That's
when this
awesome.
installs now, is this installing like in the cloud?
It's installing it in this instance of WordPress in the cloud. Yes.
Gotcha.
So
I'm
that
not really
then
installing stuff on my computer.
Mhm.
Okay, so now I just, what just happened?
So what you could then do is you could activate it. Right now, it's now included in the
It is.
list
It
of
says right
tools.
here. Okay,
Mhm.
good.
So it is active. Okay. So now it becomes a tool you can use on the individual pages or the individual pages, I assume.
So these are some that come on it automatically
Right.
when you're just starting it up.
Mhm.
Okay.
So these are just the default sets, but you can
Okay.
choose others to add.
Okay, now where do you want me to go, John?
The other thing maybe would be to pages. And then you could add a page, which is basically a web page that could then appear in a menu at the top or the side or whatever. And you can create whole menu structures in there.
Okay.
And then you put the text below it and you just have a series of blocks. And if you find you can't do something with a block editor, you can always switch to HTML and embed HTML directly. But, you know, the block editor will let you do most basic text.
Okay, So now am I just doing publish again?
You just do publish.
So
and it
what's
would
with
give
all
you-
this other stuff down here though? Footer widgets, disable elements, page builder container. What's all this
That's
stuff?
for the sidebar. So do you want the default is the default for this particular style? Every style comes with configuration options, and you can choose what you want on the footer or what you want. If you want to add some widgets to the bottom of the page, for example, and widgets would be things like it could be the last post. It depends. The widgets are things you choose from, and this is just saying how many you want to allow at the bottom of a page.
So I'm gonna say we have 4 widgets and we'll put something down there.
Okay.
Okay. So
And now you should be able to publish that.
okay, what's this settings thing? Should I be worried about settings or no?
You could look at it. I guess that was the settings, the widgets at the bottom. Okay,
Oh,
so
no, that's making this thing go away when I click that. Okay, so publish, and I want to make it only visible to us because we don't know what we're doing yet.
there
Now,
are so many Hello World
Yeah.
sites out there. And then view page.
Go ahead,
At any
Judy.
point, I'm sorry, at any point, if you don't like something, you can just like uninstall it and get
Exactly.
rid of it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Or switch it out for a different style if you don't like. Each of the styles has pre-configurations that are limited. For example, some of them will have a footer, some will not have a footer, some will have sidebars, some will have footers or sidebars. This particular style has both, and then you could configure it. And what you would do here is it's telling you how to add alternative footers. So you go to appearance and widgets, and then you drag what you want to that. Why don't we just do that just to see?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Oh, we could have a calendar.
So, yeah,
Okay.
you could have auto. Yeah. You could choose an audio source, an audio player. You could have a images. You
Navigation
could,
menu would be nice. Let's put that as footer widget 1.
yeah, usually the navigation menu would be on the top though, or the side, but it could be there.
We won't do that.
Well, I mean, you could
Oh,
try
so
it.
I like that idea because I hate having to go up to the top of the page.
Right. That might work better though if you only have one. I'm not sure how it would fit when you have 4
Okay,
across.
so we'll cancel that one. All right.
I mean,
so-
but again, you can experiment. I don't want to discourage that.
So with images, is that to pull off a computer or to upload, or it just
you would
gives you all
you would
those
upload
images?
them, and
Okay.
they get stored here, and then you could add them to different sites on your page.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Say that again, John.
If you have images, you upload the images, and then you could place them where you want, embed them in any component.
Okay, so if I split image as a widget, what does that do?
That would make a spot for the image, and then you'd have to put the image in
that
there.
makes good sense. All right, so I'll put image. Can I have 2 images or not?
I'm not sure. Click on it and see. Well, you could put an image in one of the widget spaces.
Yeah, like I put a widget in. I thought I put it in widget 2. Image, add widget.
Okay. And now you could click back on the pages or the posts. I don't remember if that was for the posts or the pages.
I think that
Pages,
was,
I think it was. So now if you click on that and you choose one, and then you choose the preview mode, you'll get to see it in context.
So if you are working with this, this might be a crazy. Can you do like a PowerPoint with WordPress, or not really?
You could upload the PowerPoint as a file and then let people download it.
Oh, okay.
So you could have files there that would be essentially downloadable.
so I put a widget of an image.
So there's
in
space for an
3
image,
and
but I think
4.
you actually have to have the images in your file system, and then you'd have to attach that to that spot.
How do I get to that spot?
I've generally had images embedded in pages. I haven't done them as like a footer, so I don't know. To add an image, I think, how do you do that?
That would be good to know.
Yeah, well, I know how to do it within a document, but let me see. Let me go into my site.
All right, I'll stop sharing.
Oh, no, that's okay. I just want to, let me just log in. Because my sites
So
have been
here's
pretty
footer widgets here. Okay.
basic.
Oh, here's how you add a block. Okay. So if I did an add block, maybe I could put a,
Well, yeah, you go to the media and go to the image.
oh, and here's a gallery. That would be useful.
Right.
That would be useful.
So you could do that.
There you go. And then this would be useful for you too. It was Judy, right?
So yeah, you could have them upload images. Well, you would have to upload it unless you put in a plugin that allowed images to be uploaded.
Okay. All right. Actually, that makes good sense. Okay.
So you would then, you should be given the option of menu where you can get to
I
it.
don't have anything on here to upload.
Okay.
Well, actually, I probably do, but they're probably in Google Drive. Yeah, they're not. What's that?
So if students have access to this, that they're going to be doing their own account or have access to this, can we have control over if they have to upload images and stuff or any of their work? Is there a way to prevent them from going public before we see it?
Yes, depending on the rights that you give students. Let me, well, I can share my screen. Let me come over to my sites. I've got a number of them. So let me, so my applications, I've got a
I can't
few.
see your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me share my screen again. So here we go. So I'm going to go to, I am going to go to my applications, which are mostly WordPress. I don't think they're all WordPress, but maybe they are now. Let me choose, for example, let me choose one. Here's one. I'll go to the administration for the podcast site that I put together. And I have some to limit login attempts to some, you know, there's a variety of things you can do. But if you go to pages, if you want to, I don't have any active pages. I'm only using posts here because each podcast is a separate post. But let's say I wanted to. So I want to add a new.
It's up a little higher next to the
Yeah.
word pages.
Yeah,
No,
next to-
in the gray part.
Add new. There. I'm sorry. So I would go here. I would choose. Let me just call this junk. That's the title. And then I'll put some stuff in. And then in the editor option, I would have an inline image. And then these are images that are already in the media library that I had uploaded to it. And you can always add more things to it. But here I was experimenting with a variety of things. And because this was a microeconomics podcast, there's a city of micro. So I had that image, and then, you know, you could add alt text to it and all the rest. And then that would now be part of that text. So I've only had embedded images, and I've generally done it that way. But you can go back to the menu here. I don't really want to save that. So I'm just going to jump out. I'm going to leave. And the way you add images to the media library, you have to add things. Any embed has to go into the media library first, and then you can embed it from there. So you would go to add, for media, you would go to add new, and then you would choose add new, and then just drag it to there or upload it, you know, or search for it. And you can do it with multiple files at a time, and so on. And then, you know, the plugins really give you a lot of options. Remember on the website I showed you in the last session for the menus where there was a drop down where you clicked on resources or examples? That was done with the Collapsomatic plugin that allows you to have those drop down menus. This is if you want to clone a post. If you have, I'm getting his feedback. If you, with the duplicate post, what happens is that if you create like a template for all your posts, you could then that becomes a menu item where you could go to a post and duplicate it. We use that for the T for Teaching podcast or something similar, and I use it on this one. So you have a template with all the information on it, you duplicate it, and then you just fill in the information for that specific item when you're the one creating it. But going back to Judy's questions, like about adding users, what you would do is you would add users. And let's say I want to add a new user here. Oops, I'm the only user on this site because I'm the one who does the upload of the podcast and the editing on that. But you would click to add new, you'd put in this information, and you would then, it would automatically generate passwords and so on. But there is a way of doing a block. I don't remember. I know there's a way of adding more than one user at a time. In this site, I haven't had that set up. Let's just do a quick search. Add. And here we go. Add multiple user. So you would add a plugin such as the Add Multiple User WordPress plugin, and that would you'd basically upload their email addresses, maybe their names too. It would send them a note. They'd all be invited in. You have to set their roles, and that we can show. So let's suppose I want to just create something random and so forth here. Once you do all of this, you get to choose the role of the individual, and you can set what rights they have too. But a subscriber is just someone who gets a subscription to this, if you have a paid or restricted site. A contributor is someone who can upload things, but only has the ability to add pages that I believe by default you have to approve before they get posted. An author is someone who has the ability to contribute certain things, and again, you can control those rights. An editor has approval to edit the work of other people, and the administrator has the ability to add users and to do all the things. So an administrator would have the same rights as you. Students would probably be listed as contributors or authors. The authors, I believe, have the ability to add blog posts. They may be able to add pages too. I'm not sure, but I think you might be able to configure that. But what I would do before doing that is user rights. I just Google it in WordPress. And, there's lots of information. Bluehost is just a web server, but it'll describe what the rights are for each one. Well, there's a video on all of those. So, before you invite students in, make sure you got the right roles for them. You can always change the roles later, but it would just be easier. Okay, yeah, we are running a bit out of time. Any quick questions?
This was so wonderfully informative. Thank you.
It was a lot of fun.
My brain is going.
Thank you so much. And I'm sorry I have to run.
Okay, well, no, that was good. If there's anything I can do to help, let me know.
Oh, John, thank you so much. Lots of help today. Have a good one.
Yep, you too. Take it easy. Bye.